The next one is kind of similar to what you're actually just talking about, is be in alignment. Find out the overall goal or desired result and what you need to do, and do what you need to do to align with it.
This is the hardest thing for me. It was the hardest thing for me, is that some people pull and you push and you don't realize they're pulling. Does that make sense?
To some degree, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like
it's really, like tug of war.
It's a tug of war. And then like personally, people do it in your family, people do it in your life. So like you got to make sure that you hire or you partner with people that are in alignment with you.
Here's the thing that for me though, is that like when we look, this is where like I can at times, Tyler and I will go down this rabbit hole, I'm sure, because we like to be in this philosophical, non-actual truth-based discussions. And that is like, is it actually even possible to be in alignment? With 50% of the marriages end in divorce because of alignment.
Yeah.
Is it really possible to be in a business marriage with alignment? And so that's the philosophical debate I have when I read that. And so it's probably why I've kind of scratched that one out as one that doesn't resonate as well with me. However, I think more about being in business with someone who is committed to wanting to find alignment.
Okay.
And so if I don't necessarily, I'll never be 100% fully aligned with Lauren. However, I believe that we will always collectively seek alignment, even if we never accomplish it.
Yeah. I don't think you're in alignment 100% of the time, but the ability to recognize that you guys aren't in alignment, and then to make the ability to have the ability to then, okay, this is where we're now going and pulling. The thing that I'm talking about is I've been married before, and when you're pulling this way and this one's pulling, and it's a mindset, and they're just pulling and you're just pushing, that's in your business.
Is that a willingness?
Life, that's where you need to get a divorce.
Is that a willingness? And like, is that willingness and flexibility, or willingness and openness to like seeing multiple perspectives? Because
so that's my fault. I married her.
Well, okay, but let's
and
just
when
say,
I'm hiring somebody, that's my fault. I hired them, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, listen, I mean that's kind of the running thing that everyone talks about, right? Is like it's too easy to place blame on everyone else, so place the blame on yourself. And the reality is 50% of marriages end in divorce. People are really good at lying. Mm-hmm. Like we grow up our entire lives lying to people for a living. I don't know why the hell we think that 7 interviews, 2 interviews, 3 interviews, we would actually see someone's highly complex and adaptive system of existence in a short interview process. It's too easy to blame the leader for everything.
Sure.
When there's a ton of luck and the complexity of human nature involved. And so I've kind of gotten swung the other direction that says people lie for a living. We all do. And so I'm not willing to like keep beating myself up over it over and over and over. I want to be in business with people who want to come to a reasonable alignment always, even if we never achieve it.
Okay.
Are we willing to?
There's a desire to.
Yeah. Are we willing to place our own ego and desires aside to have the transparency to communicate towards alignment? And if we are, then I think we can stay in business in perpetuity.
While that is still going on.
Yeah.
While we're still.
Yeah.
So I guess we're kind of saying the same thing. I'm saying like, as long as we're still willing.
Yeah.
And then, but if someone at some point in time, like I guess because I'm kind of dealing with this with someone in my life, and I just feel like from a mindset perspective, like when I'm pulling, she's pushing. So like at some point in time, do you like, I can't change that.
That's
like,
right.
That's so
right.
Then you have to.
So for me, I look at it that goes, if there's value being brought by parties, and the goal is to seek alignment, and neither party is willing to quit, then we'll eventually find as close as possible to alignment as what it looks like. The best example, I guess, that I think of is that there was that red table talk with Will and Jada. And I feel like, do I need to add a last name or is that
you
enough?
got it.
Okay.
We're good. We know who
So Will and Jada do their red table talk, whatever it's called, red top table, something like that. Look it up on Facebook. But they talk about being married and yet neither one of them willing to quit, period. Like so damn stubborn and relentlessly committed towards not quitting that despite being out of alignment for multiple years, they were willing to share. They're like, we'll share a bed with each other's new partners, but we won't quit and get divorced. We will stay so damn committed to finding the end alignment that we will that we won't tap out on this until eventually they accomplish that outcome. Those are the people that I want to be in business with. Those that don't shut down and quit when we fall out of alignment.
Actually, we've been talking about therapy so much, but that's actually when you do couples therapy, that's at least our therapist approach was like, are you guys both committed to like trying to understand each other? Are you actually both committed? Do you want to make this work long run? Because some people will go to therapy just to be like,
blame.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. And so it's like, she was one who was like, I'm not working with you guys. If one person doesn't want to do it, you're not going to get to alignment.
That's right. Yeah.
Good. You know what? I agree.
Well, I mean, listen, we've all, as a group, we've all said that that's something that we've done, right? Which means that there's a commitment towards resolving and finding alignment. Yeah. Instead of throwing in the towel. Yeah. And just saying, like, things are hard. We're out of alignment. I quit. I think that shows up on a track record oftentimes in an interview process. Yeah. By how many hops people have made in their career that are unrelated to life events or significantly better opportunities. Right. I mean, despite the fact that as an entrepreneur, like I'm someone who's entrepreneurial, yet I have had long stints in places that I've worked.
Everywhere I've been.
Even at times when I was unhappy because the intent was to find that happiness. It wasn't the company's job to make me fulfilled.
Absolutely.
I wanted to add something from the book that we've got highlighted here about alignment, and what it ultimately is about values. It doesn't mean that you don't
get much more succinct than what we just said.
I think that's the problem. We didn't define. So we're sitting here communicating a word. And for me, that is one thing, and for you, it's one thing. And the book is meaning another thing, and that's the issue that we all deal with in every facet of our life.
And to even add to it, it doesn't mean that you don't get to have your opinion about how things are being done, but it does mean that the work that you're doing and the work that your company does is meaningful to you. If not, it's hard to get excited, stay course, or be creative. So I do think it is important, like, kind of going back to what we were talking about and having kind of a specific destination. So if people kind of know like what they're doing this for, it makes it easier to do all the things and to bring up the ideas and have the challenging conversations.
I think that takes an adult approach, because I see a lot of people, I see a lot of real estate agents who are burnt out. In fact, we did an episode almost a year ago now that, almost 7 out of 10 Americans at one point in time were burnt out at work. And real estate agents have a really high burn rate. And I am blown away by that. And yes, the job can have no boundaries. And yes, the job can create work at any and all given hours of the day. And I get that. The perspective I have, though, is how do you get burnout, or how do you not have fulfillment and understand that from a value perspective, you're adding a massive amount of value to someone's life when you do it right. That, like, at the end of the day, you're showing up to serve, which is one of the most thankless and tireless jobs that you can do. You almost never run out of energy when you're contributing. It is one of the spiritual needs of a person, is to contribute. And when you really truly make peace and can visualize and understand that as a real estate agent, your job is to serve the person and their housing needs and make a life situation that is causing them pain and headache make it better. How do you burn out on that?
It's all from the lift, man. So like I burned out.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing it for the wrong reasons, when you're doing it
for yourself, totally normal, by the way.
Selfish reasons for. I'm not going to say selfish. You're trying to get your family ahead.
That's right.
You're trying to build a legacy. And when you're lifting from the wrong spot, then it's heavy. The burden is really heavy and you burn out.
Yeah.
So right now I'm doing way more and I'm doing way less. Like I feel like the energy in my burden level is because I'm coming from a different spot.
It's the ultimate business hack, I think, is when you understand that when you show up to serve, you have way more energy because you're unattached to the outcome. You're actually just serving the need of the person who's in front of you. And as so long as you understand that when you serve and add value, you receive value in return.
I think that